Welcome to Tribal Ready Learning Circle. Chamai, hello. My name is Katrina Tysinger. My elder given name is Sakhalak, and I'm Yupik Eskimo from the Bristol Bay region of Alaska. I am the Tribal Funding Strategist with Learn, Design, Apply, and I'm so excited that you've joined us today for this Tribal Ready Broadband Grant session. A little bit about Learn, Design, Apply. We are a grant consulting firm, and we have an entire broadband team dedicated to working with clients on broadband grants. We have secured millions of funding for tribes and understand the significance of Indian country in promoting digital equity. In partnership with Tribal Ready, these sessions are designed to utilize values as a foundation in cultivating tools and resources specific for tribes in the broadband grant writing process, all while maintaining cultural relevance and sensitivity from a tribal perspective. We understand that many tribes are seeking out external resources to aid in this process. These sessions are designed to provide some directed insight on considerations to look at as you work to build broadband infrastructure onto tribal land. We're going to discuss broadband funding and grant considerations related to the cultural value of tribal sovereignty. We know that sovereignty of our land is critical in effective and relevant decision-making for our people. We're going to discuss a few business plan considerations tribes should look at. As a first step in providing broadband infrastructure on your tribe's lands, you will need to decide whether to do so alone or form a partnership with one or more other entities, including other tribes or other commercial providers. Working alone retains the greatest degree of control and flexibility, including the flexibility to provide broadband service in a manner that maximizes the benefit to its community rather than the monetary return on investment. On the other hand, partnerships with two or more other tribes, including by forming a consortium, allow for pooling resources and achieve important economies of scale. Consortia can include multiple tribal organizations, state and/or private entities to meet a larger geographic demand by collaborating resources. It is also advisable to ensure that government politics and business operations do not overlap. It is reasonable to consider that government policies and businesses will have similar objectives and priorities. However, tribal LLCs, utility boards, and authorities should be allowed the latitude necessary to oversee projects and operations on a business level. For this reason, tribes should consider separating their government and business operations. We know that tribes have different structures and are not uniform. Consideration should be made on your current oversight structure and how to incorporate broadband business practices to your advantage. Any tribe, whether organized under Section 16 or not, may establish a tribal corporation pursuant to Section 17 of the IRA. Section 17 was intended to create efficiencies in conducting business, allowing tribes to operate separate business structures under the oversight of tribal councils. For most grant applications, your business structure will need to be laid out clearly in how you plan to operate your network and the partners you include. Tribes may want to consider establishing ETC status for eligible Universal Service Fund programs. There are 4 distinct USF programs, all with the same goal of achieving universal, affordable, reliable communications nationwide. The 4 programs are Lifeline, E-Rate, Rural Healthcare, and Connect America Fund. Participation in all 4 of the USF programs is limited to ETC providers deemed eligible by either the FCC, State Public Utility, or Public Service Commission. The most commonly sought programs by tribal providers seeking to build broadband networks are Connect America Fund and Lifeline. Becoming an ETC has benefits, but it also comes with specific requirements, regardless of whether a provider seeks designation from the FCC or a state. More information on the requirements can be found on the Universal Service Administrative Company website. For some grant applications, affordability is a component of the scoring criteria of the application. An aim to become an ETC provider would help justify this score. Educating your tribal council members is certainly something you are familiar with on various projects and planning for your tribe. Expanding broadband infrastructure in any community can come with confusion and a lot of questions. Tribal communities are closer knit, and so something to consider when discussing broadband funding opportunities is to keep members informed as much as possible. Provide as much information as you can about the funding opportunity and the proposed project. Focusing on the end goal and incorporating transparency is key. As you know, tribal members have a sense of ownership and want to be involved in decisions that are made. Utilizing your broadband partners and contractors in this outreach endeavor is helpful, and you can find more about broadband partnerships and their role in our Share What You Have session. For most grant applications, funders want to see the amount of outreach, engagement, and support you have from your community. Tribal data sovereignty refers to the right of Native American tribes to exercise authority over their own lands and resources, including the right to control and govern the collection, use, and sharing of data related to tribal citizens, programs, and lands. Traditional research and data collection methods often extract from, rather than support, Native communities. The resulting poor quality data places harm on Native populations, resulting in underfunding, less access to supportive services, and widening disparities in public health and poverty. Much of federal funding relies on accurate data, so thoughtful data examination is crucial, as well as partnering with those who can aid in ensuring correct data is portrayed for your tribal community or reservation. Take a look at your tribal censuses, poverty rates, and broadband surveys and maps. These are used to justify the need for expanding your tribe's broadband infrastructure. The ability to control access to tribal lands can be one of your most significant assets. For example, tribal land can be leased to tower owners, producing a steady revenue stream for your tribe. Also, you can exchange permission to build a tower on your tribal land for reduced rates for tribal customers, or for the right to co-locate the tribe's own equipment on the tower. The same holds true for fiber optic cable that crosses tribal lands. You can also exchange permission to lay fiber on their land for access to fiber, or require the installation of additional fiber and/or conduit dedicated to the tribe. You can find more about tribal land considerations in our Sustainability Live Carefully session. Many funders host a tribal consultation process. This is a time to ask questions and understand specifics on funder requirements and the grant application process. As we know, feedback drives action, or at least that's the goal. However, Indigenous people are not always inclined to speak up. But as Chief Joseph of the Pacific Northwest Wallowa Tribe says, it does not require many words to speak the truth. I encourage you to use your voice. It will help streamline future grant processes. but come to the table prepared. Read through the guidelines, then read them again. Highlighting key components are helpful. And then familiarize yourself with previous rounds of funding. Finally, don't forget to ask questions. As a grant writer, many times I reach out to funders and inquire on specifics of the grant application. Clarifying is always the best way to go. But again, use your voice. Guyana, thank you for joining us for this Tribal Ready Learning Circle on broadband considerations related to tribal sovereignty. Check out our other value-driven, tribal-ready sessions to learn more about tribal resources for expanding broadband infrastructure in Indian country.